This play from Javier Baez and Marcus Stroman has to be in contention for play of the year because I know the Mets were winning 7-0, but if this run would have scored, the Mets might have been in danger of losing yesterday's game because they blew that lead. We'll break that game down in just a moment, but what's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. If this is your first time on the channel, we do this every single day, so don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, as well as use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off any baseball game that you're going to anytime soon. We have Shohei Ohtani versus Salvador Perez. The home run race in the American League is officially on. Fernando Tatis Jr. hammered another home run, and then yes, the title is not a lie. Cody Bellinger is now getting benched. He is a full-blown platoon player. Now, before we talk about the games from yesterday, I do want to update all of you Yankees fans. Your best relief pitcher, I am saying that emphatically, Jonathan Loaisiga, I believe that's how you say his last name, he is going on the IL, and I would say that he has been a top 10, maybe even borderline top 5 reliever in all of Major League Baseball. He has a sub 2.5 ERA, a sub 2.5 FIP. The man has been a machine. Just unfortunately, he can't throw for the next 10 days because of a right rotator strain. So considering he can't throw for 10 days, this dude might be gone for the remainder of the regular season. Now let's go ahead and talk about the Yankees game from yesterday. They were facing off against the Orioles, and for whatever reason, the Orioles are just not taking the Yankees crap in 2021. Jorge Mateo takes a walk, and then the ball actually gets away from Gary Sanchez, so the wild pitch turns into the first run, and Chris Ellis of the Baltimore Orioles throws 5 shutout innings, does not allow a single hit, and the Yankees were actually getting no hit going into the 7th inning when Gleyber Torres, he grabs the first base hit and the first run of the game for the Yankees. And Joey Gallo, please, he's 0 for 17 coming into this AB. He has to get the job done, and he does it. He turns on an outside changeup. I was super happy for him because the Yankees fans were actually starting to boo him. Aroldis Chapman strikes out the side, but a run does score after a dropped third strike allowed a runner to get to first base, and that runner actually came all the way around to score on a sacrifice fly. And then the closer for the Orioles, Sussler, goes 1-2-3 in the 9th inning, and the Yankees, they lose another game to the Baltimore Orioles. They have a sub 500 record against the AL East. That is not a good sign. All right, let's talk about the 2 walk-off victories from yesterday. We have the Cubs versus the Pirates. The first walk-off came from Frank Schwindel, but we'll talk about his magic in just a moment. Yoshi Tsutsugo has been looking really good for Pittsburgh. 6 home runs and 12 RBIs in his first 18 games, and then it was a boxing match for the rest of the game. The Cubs score 3 in the 4th inning, and then Pittsburgh, they answer back with 5 in the very next inning. So it's 6-3 Pittsburgh, and Frank the Tank, oh my goodness, 450 feet. So the Cubs, they're still losing 6-4 going into the final inning. Then you have Rivas and Ortega tying it up because Gamble, who is usually a pretty good outfielder defensively, botches the web gem, and then Frank Schwindel shows off the magic. Now has a 357 batting average and 9 home runs, along with I think 25 RBIs in his first 30 games as a Chicago Cub. That's legendary stuff. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to keep this up because he is kind of older for a rookie, but shout out to my boy Frank. The final walk-off came at my expense. We have the Boston Red Sox versus Cleveland. Tanner Houck and Eli Morgan, they both tossed 5 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts apiece. So they were really good. Just unfortunately, the Cleveland bullpen has been anything but that. I mean, everyone aside from Emmanuel Clase and sometimes Blake Parker, but the bullpen implodes yet again. They give up a 3-run jack to Rafael Devers in the 7th, but then rally time happened again. Cleveland, I will give them some credit. They don't have the most talented roster, but they do fight. So Bobby Bradley knocks in J-Ram, and then the Franimal ties it up on a 2-strike count, a mammoth home run, if I might say so myself. But then Alex Young, he comes in and pretty much wet the bed. He walks 2 and then gives up a walk-off single to Alex Verdugo. We'll talk about the wild card standings in just a second because they're crazy. What I want to do right now is talk about the home run race between Vlad Guerrero Jr., Salvador Perez, and Shohei Ohtani in the American League. So the White Sox faced off against the Royals, and Luis Robert, my goodness, hit this ball 455 feet. This kid has unlimited talent. Yasmani Grandal then destroys a no-doubt 3-run shot. The guy has been a machine ever since he was activated from the IL. Now, the White White Sox end up with 6 runs before the 4th, but then you have Cam Gallagher driving in a run on a single, and he gets on base for Salvi, who belts home run number 39. More on Salvador Perez in just a second. Do not go anywhere. Jose Abreu drives in his 103rd RBI on his 500th career extra base hit. Yasmani has his 4th RBI of the day on a sacrifice fly in the 4th inning. And then Salvi, he bashes home run number 40. He has a 983 OPS in the second half. He has 99 RBIs on the season. Just unfortunately, he was really all that the Royals had offensively yesterday. Craig Kimbrell, he strikes out 3 in his appearance. And then Liam Hendricks racks up save number 32 as the White Sox escape with a 10-7 victory. Salvador Perez and Shohei Ohtani are the only 2 guys in baseball with 40 home runs, and Ohtani did it again yesterday. But first, Juan Lagares drove in the lone run in the first few as both starters were locked in for the Angels and the Rangers. And Jose Suarez was especially good for the Rangers. He throws 6 shutout innings, but he was in desperate need of run support, and Ohtani, he gave it to him on his 43rd home run of the year. I mean, honestly, Shohei is 2 home runs away from Nick Fury showing up at his doorstep for Avengers recruitment. So he has 43 home runs. He hit that a day after securing his 9th win as a pitcher. And speaking of pitchers, Jose Suarez throws a complete game, 1 earned run performance with 0 walks on 8 strikeouts. They're going to need that going into 2022. If they can have Shohei doing his thing with Jose Suarez, Reed Detmers, and they sign one more starting pitcher like an ace level pitcher and they stay healthy. I know I said this over the offseason, but I like the Angels' chances in 2022, but I say that every year, and then we all get disappointed. All right, so Cody Bellinger was, in fact, benched before this game. That is the 2nd time in the last week, so dating back to, I think it was August 27th or 8th, he was benched, and obviously again yesterday. 24 hours after Trey Turner blows it on that errant throw and allows the Giants to get a walk-off victory, he launches a leadoff home run, so I think that he's going to play angry against the Giants for the rest of the series. Corey Seager drives in a run on a sac fly, and then AJ Pollock, he drives in an RBI on this double, but then he has to leave the game with an injury, which is where Cody Bellinger has to step in and deliver because it did not look good for AJ Pollock. There will be an update on AJ, I believe, in the next few days, so we'll see if he's going to be missing a lot of time because he has been so good for the Dodgers over the last 2 seasons. Buster Posey drives in this run, but that was the only run for the Giants as Trey Turner makes a nice flip play in the 5th inning, so he doesn't make an error on that one, and then he scores on a balk in the 6th inning. Now, the reason why is because apparently Jose Quintana didn't declare that he was going to be pitching from the lineup. A very interesting rule that I did not know of. Julio Urias showed up with 5 2/3 innings, only allowed 1 earned run with 8 strikeouts, no walks allowed. Corey Seager hits a home run. Pujols adds 1 more on a sac fly. So the Dodgers and the Giants are knotted up yet again for first place. They're both 86 and 50. Now, Cody Bellinger, over his last 133 games, has a combined 200 batting average with 21 home runs, a 78 OPS plus, and only a .4 WAR. He has to step it up as the replacement for AJ Pollock. The Padres versus the Astros. Adam Frazier was hit by a pitch, and then you have Austin Nola and Fernando Tatis delivering with a couple RBI singles. Then another balk drives in a run. I believe that's 4 in the last week, and I think there's 1 more in a game later on. Musgrove had a solid start, 2 earned runs and 5 1/3, so not his best, but definitely a quality start. Machado absolutely tattoos a 2-run, 453-foot bomb. Will Myers adds another 2-run home run in the 7th, and then Fernando Tatis smacks his 37th home run. He ups his OPS plus to 177. The Padres stay locked in at a half game back of the Reds for the wild card spot because the Reds beat the Tigers yesterday. Even though Eric Haas hit his first home run since returning from the IL, he is very much a Rookie of the Year candidate. Joey Votto kickstarts a huge 3rd inning. The heck? It's a loud bang outside. I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was scary. Eugenio Suarez drives in a run on a sac fly, and then the Punisher, Aristides Aquino, comes in huge with a 3-run home run. Both he and Suarez are having such a weird season. They're coming in clutch when it matters, but their on-base percentage and OPS plus absolutely sucks. You have Dustin Garneau walking in an RBI to make it a 1-run game, but then India saves it with a sliding stop at second base, and Naquin brings in 2 on an RBI triple. He has a very solid 109 OPS plus, 19 home runs, 70 RBIs. So the Reds, again, they're a half game ahead of the Padres for 2nd place in the wild card. The Brewers have what seems like 5 different pitchers that can throw a CG shutout at any given moment, and yesterday that happened with Adrian Hauser dominating, but we'll talk about him later on because Urias, he hits a home run, and then Lorenzo Cain scores on a throwing error from Dylan Carlson, but they were not done in the 2nd as Luke Maile slaps an RBI double, and Urias singles in the final run for both teams because Adrian Hauser, good lord. A 9-inning complete game shutout, obviously 9 innings, with 7 strikeouts, to not walk a single hitter, batter and only allow 3 hits. This Milwaukee rotation is dumb. So the Cardinals, with that loss, they fall to 2.5 games back at second place for the wild card. A doubleheader, the Mets versus the Nationals. Buckle in your seatbelts because game number 1 was insane. Francisco Lindor starting to heat up. He and Pete Alonso make it 2-0, and then Baez smacks home run number 27 as the floodgates open for New York. They explode for 9 runs, and it was capped off by a 2-run home run by Michael Conforto. He had 3 home runs in the first half, and he's already up to 8 in the second half, so good for him. He is in a contract year, so he needs to step it up the final month. The Mets run a 4-game winning streak, and they also had a 9-run lead, so guess what happens next? Yeah, they kind of imploded. Over the next 2 hours, they not only lose the lead, but they also lost Brandon Nimmo with a hamstring injury. Francisco Lindor, he comes in clutch and extras with a 4 RBI day with this 2-run home run. So the Mets, out of nowhere, on a 5-game winning streak, they have yet to lose ever since they gave the thumbs down to the fans until game number 2. So the Mets are finally back to 500, but again, I kind of hinted at it. They lost game number 2 because Lane Thomas has been a monster for Washington. He has a 155 OPS plus, and then Carter Kieboom rips an RBI. Now the Nationals do have a nice little core between Soto and Thomas and Kieboom and Luis Garcia. Alcides Escobar won't be a part of the future, but he has been pretty good this year. He extends the lead after a 2-run home run. Then Kevin Pillar answers with a 2-run shot of his own. Just unfortunately, the Mets cannot score enough. They lose by a score of 4-3, and they are 4.5 games back to the wild card. The Marlins versus the Phillies. Andrew McCutchen at 35 years old. I mean, he's 34, but about to turn 35. 23 home runs, 69 very nice RBIs, and a 114 OPS plus. And Ranger Suarez was incredible. He ropes an RBI double to help out his own cause and tosses 5 shutout innings, only allows 2 base hits, has 7 strikeouts. Just the bullpen, they have to hold it. But what do the Phillies usually do? They blow leads, and that's exactly what happened. 1 run in the 8th, no biggie, until Lewis Brinson, he grabs the lead, and Dylan Floro shuts the door with his 8th save. And the Phillies now have the 2nd most losses after going into the 8th inning with a lead. The Rockies versus the Braves. CJ Cron is a cheat code. Herman Marquez ties it up and then allows a home run to Ozzie Albies, and Chuck Nasty, he had Herman's back. He now has a home run in 3 straight games, only to have Jorge Soler tie it right back up. But then Tapia and Hampson, they put the Rockies up. They put up 2 runs, and Trevor Story drives in Chuck Nasty on an RBI triple in the 7th. D'Arnaud does make it interesting, but the Braves, they take the 4-3 L. But I do want to mention the Braves now have 4 infielders that could have 30 home runs by the end of the season. The Rays versus the Twins. This was an embarrassing performance by the Minnesota Twins. Franco's RBI single in the first extends his on-base streak to 34. Just 2 games behind Mickey Mantle. You have Yandy Diaz driving in an RBI, and Randy scores in the 2nd on a balk. So many of these. Yandy crushes a 440-foot 3-run nuke, and Luplo adds another one. And that was right before Manuel Margot hits his 10th home run. And Randy Arozarena, he was a double away from the cycle. Then you have Nelson Cruz and Brandon Lau crushing 2 more home runs. So the Rays have outscored their opponents by 175 runs. Another slugfest. We have the Jays versus the A's. Lourdes Gurriel has a home run in back-to-back games. Then Danny Jansen and Valera both homer as well. But Matt Chapman has been a monster in the second half. Then you have Mark Canha and Chad Pinder making a 1-run game, and Teoscar unleashes a 3-run tater for his 100th career home run as Lourdes Gurriel Jr. clears him in the 8th. So he now has 2 home runs and 8 RBIs in the last 48 hours. The Jays bullpen does their thing as Mark Canha hits a 3-run home run, Sean Murphy hits a 2-run home run, and they barely escape with a 10-8 victory. And last but not least, the Mariners versus the Diamondbacks. Both Seager brothers went off yesterday. A 3-run shot for Kyle, number 32 on the season. And we fast forward to the 4th inning when J.P. Crawford grabs the lead back after Arizona. Of course, they fought their way back to grab the lead. And then it was gone yet again as Ketel Marte cannot be stopped. He ties it up, and Kyle Seager goes off again, quite literally does the same thing with a 3-run shot. He now has 33 home runs and 91 RBIs, but only a 289 on base percentage. So the Mariners are now tied with the A's in the wild card race. The Jays have won 3 in a row, but they're still 5 games back. The A's, they fall to 4 games back and are tied with the Mariners, and the Yankees are just a half game back of the Red Sox, who have won 4 in a row. There was 15, maybe even 16 games that we had to recap yesterday, so I would really appreciate a sub, as these videos are not easy to make. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe out there. Use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself $20 off, and enjoy this day in MLB history. I am tired.
And this is left up, and it's hit to left field and deep. Holiday going back. Matt is not going to get it. You know, Matt's complaining that a fan interfered. He's not going to get this call because he never leaped. It's a 2-run home run for Bob.
1-2. This is out toward right field. Going back on it is Tucker. He's watching it go. That is gone.
Career home run number 300 for Mike Trout. And he sits atop the Angels home run leaderboard all by himself.